Right, the rear door of the Land Rover Defender. One thing that's the same across the 90, the 110, the 130. Now the early ones had a soft close thing. And what it meant was when you close the door, you could just do it right and it would close it in. And that was quite good because you've got the big heavy wheel on the back, and sometimes if you just sort of pull it closing and it would just catch. But they deleted it on the later models. It was only on like the first year. So as far as I'm aware, it hasn't been, originally I think it was a chip shortage thing, but I don't think they've reintroduced it. So we are going to show you in this video what you need to upgrade your car to the soft close. So let's go over to the table and have a look at the sort of thing you need. How does the soft close work? Right, so the soft close is essentially this motor, and I'll take it apart actually later in the video, and it's got a little motor and it pulls this cable at the end. It pulls this cable, coils it in. Now, so you will need an actuator motor thing. You will also need a different door lock. So I've got the two door locks here, right? And you will notice this extra cog here. And what happens is the actuator cable hoops around this, and this does a pulling action and pulls it closed. Okay, now you'll notice that if I put that one there, can you get them both in the shot there so you can see? This one, the normal standard car, it's got like the metal there, but it doesn't have all the cogs and all the things. So you need to unfortunately fit a whole new one of these. Right, so you need the actuator, you need the door lock with the compatible that's got the little pulley bits and the cogs. You will also then need some extra wiring. So you've got to, there's some extra wiring because obviously this plug has got to go onto this actuator. So you need the plug to go on the actuator. And then it's got to take the signals from the door lock. So you have to add some extra pins to the connector. So we've got this with the pins that you have to fire into some empty holes. And then you also need to take an earth. So we've taken the earth off the heated rear window. And then you need to take a positive. Now, this means you've got to go back. Let's go back to the car. And then we will get on and do this. So on this door, there is no ignition. So let me get this right. Ignition live or permanent positive? There is no, it's got to be permanent positive, hasn't it? Because my ignition's not on. I've just had soft close. So you have got to get that from the car. And where you need to get that from is this rear fuse box. And we have to wiggle the positive wire through this little concertina thing and then jam it onto the fuse box. So that's what that red wire's for. Right, so we've unfortunately got to revert our car back to standard, and then we're going to show you how to retrofit the soft close. Right, catch you in a minute. So this is the full fitting kit. We've now got all our ducks in a row. So you have got the latch, you have got the actuator, you have got the 3 inserts that go in the door, you have got a 2-way connector, a Wago connector, we've got the positive feed wire with the inline fuse, we have got the indoor wiring loom all ready to go, and that's what we're going to show you how to install. We'll throw in some cable ties, and we will throw in the bit of blue pipe with a special bolt inserted in the end, which we will use to thread the wire through the door, and a little sachet of silicone grease, which we will use to lube this up so it goes through that concertina rubber. Right, let's go over to the door. So the first thing you will need to do is get over to your door and undo the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all them screws. They're the exposed screws. What are they? Destiny Torx T25?
30.
30. Torx T30. They should all be the same. They are like that. There you go. They've got a nice little lead in, and they've got a Torx T30. Right, if you do that one, and then, oh, don't drop them, and then do that last one, Destiny. So when you've worked your way around there, zoop, zoop, there is a little sneaky hidden one. Now, sometimes there's a little rubber tray in there. Sometimes there's just a little rubber bung. They've even costed that down, haven't they? The stick's got a nice little... Right, so that's... And then you can lift that out, and then we'll come back when Destiny's finished that, and we'll whoop that door panel off. Give it a... It pulls directly back that way. Now, have we don't need to be careful. There's nothing on there, is there? So you've got a series of 4 clips here. Make sure they've all come out and not stayed in the door. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 clips at the top there. They're normally all right, aren't they, Destiny? It might take a bit more pulling the first time if you've not had it off before. And this reveals all the glory of the inside of your rear door. And it's these 3 points here where the actuator, soft close actuator mounts. So let's get the rubber bungs in there first. These little, they're sort of conical shaped. You can see they're sort of, and they're really good actually, aren't they? They just push in, whoosh. Like, oh, I say they're really good. They take a bit of squidging, don't they? But they're actually a really good fixing mechanism. They don't rattle and they're easy to push in, and you'll see the actuator gets in there. Right, so when we got those in, Destiny's fighting that last one. Let's get the old lock out, because the old lock is no good to us. Do you reckon it's easier, Destiny, to undo those bolts and then take the connectors off? Because you can see them more, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got just the, what we got on there, Torx T30 again.
Yep.
So you've got 3 of those. 1, 2, 3. I don't think there's any need to disconnect your battery or anything, but obviously you've got to leave your door open because your latch is going to be off. And I will say this now, test when you've done the soft close, before you close the door, test it first. Remember, we'll do that, Destiny. Otherwise, if it doesn't work and you close your door, you're kind of pooped. Warning. Right, so those are those 3 screws there. They're different to those other ones we took off earlier. Right, and then that, put those in our pot. Makes a handy pot for your bits. Right, you're going to sort of pull that lock towards you, Destiny. And then you should be able to find how many connectors we got on it. Still 2. So you'll have a little wrestle. Oh, well done. You've got a whole... Now, we've got extra connectors on it because we've got security looms and all sorts. Right, now this connector's a pain, isn't it? Right.
Yeah, I tend to...
There's a little... You got to push it in at the top and fight it as well. That's it. That whole bit comes out like that, right? And then you've got a second connector hiding at the bottom. Okay. Yeah. Right. Did you have to push anything there, or what?
You push that bit, but
it's
just a bit hard to slip off.
Slip off.
So I use that as leverage.
Leverage, right? So you got to push that bit at the top, and then jam a bit of leverage in to get off. So that is our old lock, now defunct and not needed. Right. Let's grab the new lock. Should we get the new lock straight on? Yeah. Oh, maybe not. Should we do the wiring? I'm just thinking because we may be able to take advantage. It's hard to connect. So let's get the wiring loom out, the tricky bit now. Right, the next thing we need to do is this connector here. So this connector's got the orange inside. You'll notice it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 empty holes. So this is, now they've got little bungs inside them. So the first thing you're going to need to do is extract the bung by putting a paper clip up through from this side. So Destiny's going to demonstrate here. So put the paper clip up through the connector, and it should push that bung out the top. Is it coming? Yeah, there it comes. There you go. So you'll get these sort of silicone rubber bungs out. So leave the end one in. So you want to leave the one opposite the 2 wires in and take the 3 of them out. So okay, so we'll have 1, 2. Now you don't need these. You can throw these away or keep them or do whatever you like. Don't eat them or give them to the kids. It's probably a special tool, but I was trying to... The paper clip seems to work, doesn't it, Destiny?
Yeah.
Right, so now we have 1 bung, 3 holes, 2 wires. Right, now I'll put a picture on the screen. You've got to get your 3... Let me just chuck those silicone bits down. You've got to get you've got a grey wire, a yellow wire, and a blue wire. And we've got to get these in the right order. So after the face, the grey wire goes in next. So we've got the space, so it goes in from the back there. And is there any, it can go one of 2 ways, can't it? And it should click in once you get it, and you should be able to not pull it out. Okay, right, and then yellow's next. I've got my little diagram on my phone. Yellow next. Right, yeah, you heard it click in, yeah. And then, so let me just have a look which way round you've got that. Does it? It doesn't really matter. Either way, you can't get it wrong because it's rectangular. So there's no up or down, just as long as it's the right orientation rectangularly. And there's little silicone seals around the back of these, and make sure they go in. Now you may have to nudge. Is that clip that last one? Mm-hmm. Right. So let's just have a look at that final, so I can put a picture of it on the screen. So it's space, grey, yellow, blue, and then your 2 original blacks. So that's there now. The next thing is now we've got to get the power. Right, so to get the power from here, there is no power in this door, so we've got to get the power from the fuse box. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this blue tube in, and we've put a sort of domed headed bolt in the end to give it a nice sort of rounded end so it doesn't get anything. We are going to stick it up there. We are going to sort of caress it. Oh, we've got the lube as well. We're going to caress it up through here. We're going to poke out. And then we're going to take the fuse box cover off and maybe the light out. And we'll see. I think we fished this out. But we did it a while back, didn't we, Destiny? And we're trying to remember how we did it. Right. So here we go. We are going to get all slippy and slimy. And we're going to get slimy fingerprints everywhere now, aren't we? Whoa. Oh, don't go excessive on it or we will actually be... I reckon just a bit on that front bit. Because that rubber, the trouble is that rubber's quite grippy. Right, so here we goes. You're going to be slimy all day now. Right. You're going in that little hole there. And then you can sort of feel it. And you can sort of caress the tube and get it where you want it. Is it flying up in? Yep. Alright. Oh, how's the camera coping with the low light? Pretty good. Oh, you're in, aren't you? That's pretty slick, that is. Right, let's whoop that fuse box cover off. Can you do that from there? Right. Now, we have got a bit of a gap round here, so let's have a look. Have a rummage and see how lucky we are. We'll do this honestly, and you may have to... Is there anything... Can I wiggle the tube around? Oh, you can reach the tube. Can you feel or hear or... What if you just keep firing it in? If we put more and more blueness in, will that give us more chance of finding... Don't want to go now?
I got it.
Got it!
It's just caught. It's not going to fire it. It's caught on the top of the hole.
Can I pull it back or...
No, I can get it out.
So you need relatively delicate hands. If you had proper hench wrists, would it be a bit of a...
Yeah. I can just about get my wrist in here. You might need a...
Child.
A female or a small child. Or...
Yes. Be nice to your partner before you get on this job.
Got it.
Can I... Right, now this is only half the problem because now we've got it back that way. We have now got to tape the wire. So let's get the wire. But look, prove that was... Didn't clip that. We didn't cut that, did we, Destiny? That was straight through. But we did have some pain. We perfected the technique, and that little bolt on the end really helped, didn't it? And the silicone grease helped. Right, let's get the wire. We've got the wire with the fuse connector. So the fuse connector is obviously going to go in the fuse. So the bare end of the wire, we are going to stick inside the tube. So we are going to stick it. That's the bit of tape from when we did it
The bolt.
years ago. Oh, it's the bolt, is it? Of course, yeah. You take the bolt out. Right. You don't need to take that much of it. And then you can just put the tape round it now. And then hopefully enough to tape the red to the wire to the tube. So that as we pull the tube back, it doesn't leave the wire stranded somewhere. And we can pull that straight back through. I mean, I guess if you wanted, you could leave the blue tube in the door as like a conduit if you wanted, couldn't you? And it would stop it would protect the...
That's not going to stick because of the
silicone, because you slimed them up now. Do you want to thread it through and leave it in the door? I reckon you could. We're making this up as we go along, Destiny. Here we go, plan B. We're just going to fire this all the way along here. That'll stop the wire getting... It's coming. Look at that. That's easy enough, isn't it? That's easier than taping and pulling it back. Yeah, and we just have to be careful that doesn't make it too rigid at that end to go into the fuse box. But you can cut a bit of the blueness back or pull some of the blue back this way if you want a bit more at that end. Right. Oh, we're loving this. Right, that's enough, that's enough. Oh, I see what you mean. That's an even, you could leave it in or you could just do what Destiny did, but that's genius. Well done, Destiny. Right then. So we're not going to plug that in because when we plug that in, that will be live and we don't want that live wire. So we can leave that down on that. Then we need to get our two-way connector. There you go. Two-way connector. Now we might have those or I might have an inline one, but basically they'll be the same. You pull the little clamps back on these. These are genius, these. Put that in, clamp it down, doosh. And then that's it. And then the other one goes from this wire we've got there. Put that in. So that's actually, we're nearly all the wiring done. We've just got to do the earth connection. Let's do the earth connection. Then we've got all the wiring done. So on the heated rear window, it's not this side here. Oh, forget my phone. I better put that in my pocket. It's the side here nearest the hinge. And underneath that bit of foam, in there is a spade connector. Now, I think we had to yank it a bit more fierce than that because ours has been apart as ever more than. And then what you've got to do is put one end of the yellow connector, but careful, you've got to route it the other side of this. Destiny, you may have to reroute that. She's done it already, sorry. Yeah, you've got to make sure you go up behind this holy bar, look. And then you put the other end of the connector on the female. That's it, on there. Right, now we need the cable tie all that up. And you could even put insulating tape around here just to stop them slipping off and tidy it up, make it look a bit more factory. Put some black insulating tape around there. Right, so that's good, that's good, that's good. Right, now I think we're ready to put the hardware on. Do you agree, Destiny? Yep. It's time to join the actuator to the latch. It's easier to do it now. So on the latch, you will notice you've got this bit here. So you just literally lie that in there, turn that round so it goes back round there. And then you've got to connect this grey bit in. So on this grey bit, you've got this little latch here. That goes in first and the side goes down there. You're probably better doing it. There you go. I think I've and that clips in. So that's all together now. So what do you reckon? I reckon let's put the actuator in. So the three rubber bungs all the other way. That needs to be facing down that way. I've got that. Right, you line those little pins up and literally it just fires in and sits there. That's perfect. Right, and now you've got to get this in. Yeah, so let's just have a look. That's correct. You can see where your door goes there, the 3 holes. Right, and then we've got to line that up. Yeah, put your connectors on first. Good idea, Destiny. Right, clip. That's all clipped in. On that second one there. Right, make him go clip. He's fierce. Right. Now we've still got the last connector, but we'll do that in a minute. Let's get that lined up in there. Okay, now you do have to wiggle round. There is some wire coming off the back of this door latch here. So you do have to be careful. It is a bit of a... It comes out a lot easier than it goes in. Well done. Right. Yeah, so it's those little bolts, Torx T30. Right, I wouldn't do the first one too tight until you've got the others in. Get them all in first, so you've got room to wiggle it around. Right, remember we've got to test this before we close the door properly. Right, excellent. Right, we can plug the connector on the soft close thing now. Make sure I look at this things at the back. Has it clicked that on? Has it clicked?
Yep.
Right. Right, let's just tuck the wires out the back. Now, obviously, we've got some cable ties in the kit, and you need to make sure you cable tie this all around there neatly. But are we at a stage where we can test it? No, we haven't plugged it in. Right, so the fuse, let's get a light. Oh, we've got a light here. No, we haven't.
I did have one. Yeah.
They've put 2 fuses in the piggyback connector, but you don't really need 2 fuses in there, but we'll leave one as a spare, look. So it goes into fuse 33. There are numbers if you've got eyes of a hawk. You got that one there. And so you plug it into, and that fuse is sort of on all the time, effectively. It's alive. So right, move that bit of silicon there. Right, now I reckon what we need to do first is grab that. We're going to use that socket there, Destiny, and we're going to emulate closing the door. So take the socket off the end of it. So you've just got the stick, and careful because it will have your fingers. So emulate, is it the right size or is that too big to emulate closing the door? No. Pull it towards you. No, I think it might need a bit smaller. Ah, hold on. Oh, it was out. Ah, because you don't know what it's going to get. Ah, you see? And then press the button and it should release it. There you go. So that's what you want to be doing. So before you... Hold on, I've got the camera in the wrong place. Right, so that's it. And then press the button on the door. Oh, that didn't release it, did it?
Yeah, it did.
Did it?
Yeah.
Yep. There you go. So we're all good. So do that before. When you've got that done, let's cable tie. So make sure you tape up these, cable tie that all up. We'll do that quickly now. And then we'll put it back together, and we will come and we will do a final, fingers crossed, close the door. Destiny's put it all back together. So there we go. It all opens fine. Just put everything back together. Picnic table, everything. And then there we go. Let that go. We probably need a bit more than that. There we go. All good. Right. So we will put those on the website. We will have an aftermarket version coming soon, which will be cheaper than the Land Rover, but you cannot beat the Land Rover ones for quality. What else have we got? Oh, do we want to do a front? Do we want to do a front door? I may do a front door. So I know that some people, and I think there might be some, it might work off a Range Rover or something. And also I will probably put the wiring looms for sale on their own. So if you're in America, you can go to your Land Rover dealer and get the other parts and buy our wiring loom, because it seems a bit of a waste shipping genuine parts around the world. Any questions, comments, whatever, let us know. Oh, bonus feature, Destiny will just strip down one of the actuators so you can see what's inside the actuator. But good luck with that. Destiny has just opened up the actuator. So let's have a look what you get in one of these. So you get a motor, and that motor obviously spins and spools up the cable and pulls this cable, and then it must obviously release and do the same. So you've got a motor, and I think sometimes these cogs wear out. So if you've got a soft close actuator that's worn, that's it. But there you go. That is what is inside a soft close actuator.